Good. Hi, everybody. Today I was going to do a little video about modes and the cage system. Um, and you see a lot of people who are very opinionated about modes versus caged system and all that stuff. I mean, it's all great. You should know it all for sure. But let's just explain it a little bit in terms of how they coexist, right? Because they do. It's just all really, it's all the same thing. There's only 12 notes. So let's just tuck into it. If you have, let's do it in the key of A. So I have an A major chord in the what we call the E shape in the caged system, right? C shape, A shape, G shape, E shape, D shape. This would be the E shaped A chord, A major. It's going to correspond with the first mode of our modal series, which is the Ionian, which is just the major scale. It's all just the major scale, but this is starting on the root here. That's the root, and I can go up to here. Right, I covered all these modes in an earlier video, so I won't go into them too much. But you can see over your E-shaped A chord, this corresponds with that first mode, the Ionian mode. If I have my next sort of voicing up the neck, I'm going to go for this is also an A, so I'm going to go with the D-shaped A chord. Sometimes you just play it like that, but this would be the root that we're working from, right? That is going to sit over mode 2, which would be the Dorian mode. And you can see that those notes of that chord, right, are sitting right in that scale shape. So when you're playing through it, you want to be aware of those notes and be aware of what they are. Be a third, a root, 5, know what they are, so you know how they behave and what you're using. Onward, ho. So our next shape, what are we in? A. So our next one is a C-shaped A. It's up at the 12th fret, it's getting a little squishy. That's going to correspond with our third mode, the Phrygian mode. Right? Which you can see there's overlap between the D shape as well. All these notes there. So, again, I see my arpeggio, root 3, 5, root 3, 5. If you're doing 4-part chords, you would add the 7 to that. And just be aware, if it's a major 7, it's just going to be lower your root. So every time you have an A, your 7 would be a half step lower. Right? So again, these in the scale, right? You're going to find those notes that are right at the thing. So the cage system, I know I'm a huge fan of Guthrie Trapp, and he does not like the word system, and I get it. The caged way of looking at the neck, it does correspond with the modes, which in a way are just also a way of looking at the neck, but it's like the caged way of looking at things gives you the chord tones that you're looking for. So you can see the chord tones as the chords change. The modes are giving you more of a scalular approach, where they're giving you those outside color tones and notes you can use to connect chord tones. So you can see the chord shape, and then you can use the scale to get from chord tone to chord tone. Anyways, that was the next one. So what do we got here? We did the E shape, we did the D shape, we did the C shape. The next A I want to encounter is going to be the A shape. So we'll do it up here. 12th fret, and it would overlap with what we call the Mixolydian mode. So if I walk up to A again, we're all hearing this all as an A major scale. There's my. Lastly, we have the G shape, which we'll do down here because it's getting too squishy up there. So, you could play it like this, but I mean, who does that, right? So I just put my pinky there, and I don't worry about the high string. I know the notes that I need on that high string, but I don't use them. So that would be a G-shaped A chord, and it would correspond with what I would consider the sixth mode, the Aeolian mode. Right? It's just another place to play the A major scale, and these are the notes that are in the A major chord. So you can play, and it sits right over your major pentatonic. You can see within that pentatonic what notes you're using that are in the scale, in the chord rather. And you could flesh that out again with the modal notes. So that note wasn't in it, but so there you have your 5. I think I covered them all. Caged system, sorry, Guthrie, caged format chords, and the corresponding mode that's over top of it. So it's all part and parcel of the same thing, and you can see your pentatonics running through all that. But if you can see your caged shapes, and then know what modal shape corresponds with it, then you can see all your options, and then you can see if you can overlap your pentatonics through that too. You got even more choices. So I would practice that on various chords, like just choose a key, start with your major chords, of course, and just work your way through a key, all 5 caged grips, and play the corresponding mode that sits right on top of them, and then try a little bit of improvising using those chord tones, connecting them with a little bit of the scale degrees, and see what you get. Okay, hope that's helpful. See you next time.